So, the season's over, the final whistle has blown, and the stadiums are quiet. But if you're a real football fan, you know the auction never really stops, right? It just shifts off the pitch and into the world of rumors, deals, and big money moves. Today we're going to dive deep into how you can bet on football transfers and turn all that off-season chatter into a strategic and honestly, a really fun game.
All right, here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with the basics of this whole off-season betting thing. Then we'll get into the timing, because that's crucial. I'll give you some of my best tips to beat the bookies. After that, we'll cover how you actually place these bets, take a look at the most expensive players in history, and finally, we'll ask the big question, who's going to be the next record breaker?
Let's kick things off with the off-season betting game. Look, that summer break can feel like an eternity for a football fan, but the transfer market, that's become the perfect way to keep that excitement going when the regular leagues are all on hold.
Yeah, it's the question every single one of us asks, right? Your weekly routine is gone, the fantasy teams are parked, but this quiet time is exactly when the transfer world absolutely explodes. It's all gossip, speculation, and for someone who knows what they're doing, a real opportunity.
So what exactly are we talking about here? It's pretty simple, really. Football transfer betting is just a market where you can place a wager on a player moving from one club to another. The key thing to remember is it all has to happen during these specific timeframes called transfer windows.
And hey, if you're already getting ideas about where to start, finding the right place to bet is half the battle. If you're looking for a list of the best betting sites in your country with a 300% bonus, just search for BetPlace US in your browser. It's a great way to see what your options are.
Okay, moving on to our next section, which is all about the clock. See, unlike betting on a weekend match, this market isn't open 24/7. It's all about these specific windows, and you absolutely have to know when they open and when they slam shut.
This timeline breaks it down perfectly. You've got the winter window in January. It's short, it's intense, and it's usually for clubs that need a quick fix mid-season. And then you have the main event, the summer window. This thing runs from June all the way to a frantic deadline day at the end of August. This is where the blockbuster deals happen.
All right, now for the good stuff, the part you've probably been waiting for. How to actually get an edge. This isn't about blind luck, it's about playing smarter. So here are some real strategies to help you beat the bookies.
First up, you have got to filter out the noise. The transfer market is swimming in rumors. You need to learn who the reliable journalists are and stick to them. Step 2, know your deadlines. Not every league closes its window at the same time, and those final hours are legendary for crazy last-minute deals. And third, and this is so important, analyze the motive. You have to ask yourself, why would this player really want to move?
And this is what I'm talking about. You've got to be a bit of a detective. Is the player not fitting into their current team's system? Maybe a new coach's style would be perfect for them. Is it about money? I mean, a huge wage offer is hard to ignore. Or is it just pure ambition, the chance to win the biggest trophies or play for a legendary club? Figuring out the why is the key to a smart bet.
So, you've done your homework, you've figured out the motive, now what? Let's get down to brass tacks and look at the actual bets you can place.
It really boils down to two main types, and they're super straightforward. First, you have the next club bet. Simple. You're just predicting where a player will end up, whether it's a permanent deal or just a loan. And on the flip side, you have the to-stay bet. This is where you're betting that despite all the rumors flying around, the player is going to stay put at their current club. Now, let's look at a real-world example. These numbers, the odds, tell you the story. For Calvin Phillips, Newcastle and Juventus are both at 2.00. That means the bookies think it's a pretty good chance, and a winning bet would double your money. But then look at Osimhen to Manchester United at 26.00. That's a long shot. The bookies think it's unlikely, but man, if that came in, the payout would be huge.
And finding the best odds is a massive part of the strategy, because different sites will offer different numbers. So, just a reminder, if you are looking for a list of the best betting sites in your country with a 300% bonus, you can search for betplace.us in your browser. It really pays to shop around.
All right, let's zoom out a little and add some drama to this. The transfer market isn't just about who goes where. It's about mind-boggling, record-smashing amounts of money. Let's take a quick trip through football history's biggest deals.
222 million euros. Just let that sink in for a second. That's what PSG paid for Neymar back in 2017. That single deal completely changed the game and what everyone thought was even possible in the market. And here they are, the top 5 of all time.
What's wild is you see the same few names over and over. PSG has the top 2 spots with Neymar and Mbappé, and Barcelona is all over this list, both buying and selling. These are the kinds of deals that don't just change a team, they change the entire landscape of European football for years to come.
So that brings us to the really fun part, trying to predict the future. With everything we've talked about, can we actually try to bet on history being made all over again?
Well, here's a little reality check from the experts. Neymar's record has been standing for quite a while now. Betting on it to be broken is an incredibly rare thing to find, and it's an even harder bet to win. The bar has just been set so high that it's the ultimate long shot. So before you start dreaming about predicting the next historic move, you've got to make sure you're properly equipped. And for the last time, as a final resource, remember that if you are looking for a list of the best betting sites in your country with a 300% bonus, just search for betplace.us in your browser.
Which leaves us with this massive question. When you look at all the incredible talent out there today, and you think about the ambition of these giant clubs, who do you think it's going to be? Who will be the next player to smash that transfer record? It's a fantastic puzzle to think about, and it's the perfect way to put all your new knowledge to the test.